everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you so much for coming back. So, without wasting any time, let's jump into what I was thinking today. I was watching Gossip Girls on Netflix and it's amazing show, by the way, for entertainment purposes. While I was having my lunch, I was thinking some of the people they criticize people who read fictions. And believe me, there are people who do say, why do you even read fictions? You don't get to learn anything or this or that. But as much as I love nonfiction, I love fiction work. Fiction is all writers' imagination, something that's not real or something that just came out of an imaginary world. If you want to see this stack of books that I own, they are fictions. They are fictions, and every Christmas, since I came here for Christmas, you have like 4 to 5 holidays and day offs. I'll get four fiction books. People who know me, they know me. Every Christmas, I will get 4 to 5 fictions to read like for the whole year. Okay, so I have this habit of reading fictions. I just cannot resist it. Reading fictions is my guilty pleasure. As much as I love reading nonfiction, sometimes I just crave for fictions. But the drawback of reading fictions is once you start the book, it's really hard to keep it down. I mean, you're always like, one more chapter, one more chapter. Just as a movie you watch or as a Netflix series you watch, you're just like, one more episode, what's happening next? It's just like that. So if there are some of people who criticize people who read, I'm sorry, I'm just having my tea and it's hot, so I'm just placing it on the right surface. So there are some people who criticize people who read fictions. And I just want to ask you one thing. Even if you're watching this video, I don't know if that audience will be watching my video. Don't you ever watch TV or movies or something like that? Because if you do, these are movies for a fictional reader. This is entertainment. I mean, just think about it. You watch movies for your entertainment. Why can't we as a reader can read fictions for our entertainment? It's the same thing. And even I think the fiction readers, they have way more imaginative and creativity in their brain than the people who watch it directly on the television, because you have to form those scenarios you're reading with blue eyes and this and wearing green dress and everything. So you just create that image in your mind, which is the creative part of your brain is being used more, whereas when you see it in the movie, it's already there. You don't have to create anything else. So stop criticizing fictional people. And fiction is really important too, because if you are a writer, if you are an actor, if you are a singer, you have to generate those feelings within you. Or if you are a songwriter, you have to generate those feelings within you to write things. And where do the feelings come from? Not all the scenarios that singers write, not all the scenarios that writers write are real. They have to generate that those feelings from imagination. Sometimes we as a normal person imagine too. Oh, I wonder if this happens. I imagine if this happens, it'll be so wonderful. I mean, just fictions make us happy. There are some girlies who'll have this like whole, I'm obsessed with those girlies. They'll have this whole like the shells behind them aesthetically. And there is this TikTok trend of Bella leather. Oh my god, I am so obsessed with them, like with the lights and everything. They love reading. I mean, they just love it, and they do it because they love it, and they're not harming anyone. They're just forming these scenarios in their head and they're happy about it. And sometimes, even if they have finished the book, they're imagining those scenarios, pretending they're real, and they're happy. So you can do anything you want to be happy. So stop criticizing the girls who read fictions, saying things that you're not meant to say. I know there are some scenarios or some scenes in the books which some of the guys will be like, "Oh, girls read this," while you watch it. I mean, reading is fine, right? Your vocabulary increases. Does your vocabulary increase if you just watch the scenario or read it? And the scenarios I'm talking about, people will know what I'm talking about. So please, please, please stop doing that. Fictions and non-fictions are equally important. Yes, I would say non-fictions really help you. Some self-help books to grow out of fake scenarios, or some the books that have written, or the autobiographies of people who will give you real life experiences, because sometimes there are things that cannot be real, and we have to be pragmatic in that field. We have to be practical to know that certain things cannot be real. But when there are some times when you just need your imagination run wild, and you just sort of have to pretend that these things are real. Like, there are characters called Christian Harper and Alex Volkov that I imagine in my head are real, and they're somewhere waiting for me, even though they do have Ava and Stella. you know this is what happens. Sometimes you can just pretend that they are yours, like they are your imagination, and you just relate to it. It makes you happy. But on the serious note, we know we have to grow too, but not all the time you can just read nonfiction. Yes, people who do love nonfiction, very good. If you can read it like all the time, that's really, really good. But I would say, instead of watching movies, I would really prefer to read about Christian and Alex in the books. And I hope they make a movie on this series. I mean, they're making a movie on It Ends With Us. You should go and watch it. Well, I'm not promoting it, but you should go and watch it. It's a great movie. Some of the books, you just to relate to the experiences. You think that there's a problem you're going through, and there's a book written on it, and that's a fictional book, and some imaginative character will take you out of that problem, which will just give you support while you're drowning in your life. It's really helpful. So don't draw back from the people saying things about you reading fictionals. And there are some parents who will be like, oh, the kids should not read fictions. Yes, I agree. There are certain things that should not read, because some of these books are adult 18 plus books, and some of the books are like teens. But just do your own research before you buy your kids books, fiction ones, because in books there are a lot of scenarios that some of the kids should not read. Sometimes when I say you have to let your imagination run wild, that means you have to see, when you're a kid, you don't read autobiographies. Your parents will get you some rhymes, twinkle twinkle little star, or they'll get you rhymes. There was a rhyme called, I'll just explain it. It's in Hindi. So my mom taught it to me while I was really, really little. And the rhyme goes like this. It's like, butterfly, butterfly, where are you going? And butterfly says, I'm going to sit with the driver. Does it make sense? I mean, does it make sense? No, right? But we just say it because we like it. We just let our imagination run wild. When we are kids, we think anything we think can be true. That's what you want sometimes. You don't want the reality to exist. When there was a phase in my life when I just wanted to drown, and I wanted someone to hold my hand so I do not drown, there were books. So those were just imagination of writers, or the characters in the books, that saved me from drowning, even though they were not real, but in my head they existed. So instead of thinking about, even if you think about people, if you talk negative things, if you think that there are certain behaviors you want to close or not want to do anymore, just replace that time by reading. And if you do not like nonfiction, read fiction. Fictions does have different scenarios or different genres. There is mystery. I don't like mystery. I like romance. I found it because the first book I read was a mystery by a girl, and I didn't read it. I didn't end it up finishing it because I didn't read it. I didn't like it. That's my point. You read fictions. Fictions are important for you, but just balance it out. You cannot just jump over to non-fictions. I'm not saying there are many people who just like non-fictions. They do not like fiction. All good. There are some people who just like non-fiction. They do not like fiction. All good. But in my head, the perfect way to grow an entertainment is just balance them out. Like, I read non-fictions, but I also read fictions, if it makes sense. You cannot just lean over to one side and find the balance of life. That would be my message. And please don't judge anyone who's, if they're reading a book which is turned into a movie, and you just say, oh, I'll just watch the movie, what's in reading the book? Because you are missing on a huge part. When you start reading, you'll realize what you're missing out on. Because there are some people who will say, oh, I'll just watch the movie, doesn't matter. Books are way better than movies, because we book readers see everything. We'll watch the movie, we'll read the book, and we'll give you the review. But every time, in every scenario, 99.9%, I don't even want to give that 0.1%, but I'll just give it, 99.9% books are way better than movies. It's just my opinion. Don't come at me for that. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much. Start reading. I'm encouraging everyone to read, like I am writing my own book. But maybe one day, maybe one day. Start reading. Read fictions if you don't like non-fiction. Fictions are great. Girls, if you're 18 plus, I'm telling you, fictions are great. Boys, fictions are really great. I'm not just telling it to girls. Okay, thank you so much for today. And bye. And read, read, read. Bye.